Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Possession. And this movie came out in 1981, and it stars, and I'm probably going to mispronounce her name, Isabel Adjani, the main woman from Nosferatu the Vampire. That's where I know her from, and Sam Neill is in this movie as well. And it was kind of weird seeing Sam Neill in this movie because he looks so young, and I'm just not used to seeing him this young. And anyways, that's just like a little side note for myself. And I thought this movie was great. But this is the type of film, I will say ahead of time, that will be asking you to really read into it. And quite possibly you will for sure need to watch it multiple times to get the full experience out of this movie. Like, that's how I felt while watching this movie, is that I think you need to see this movie a couple more times to really understand what it's going for and what things are going on in the plot. And this movie has a great plot, and I can never really guess where it's going at points. And it does get crazy at times, and there are scenes in this movie that are genuinely horrifying. And this experience very much feels like what it's like to lose your mind. And it's kind of crazy at times, and honestly, it can't just be summed up into one word for me, because there's so much going on in it that I just really enjoyed. And the movie was like very well shot. It looked beautiful. There's some impressive long takes that go on for a while and add to the experience, because they have like great storytelling going along with them, and that's why they work in the movie. And there are parts of this movie that I really loved, and there's some great practical effects in the movie as well. I don't think that's a spoiler in the film, but the music choices also really worked for me. I thought the movie had a great score. There's lots of memorable characters in this movie. Like, each character in this movie is very memorable, and I can remember each and every single one of them because of how they're portrayed in the film, how well they're acted, how they're written, and they just have really great screen presence. And going to why I think this is a multiple watch movie, I do feel as though like there are parts where I was like kind of confused as to like where it was going, and I wasn't entirely too sure what exactly is going on throughout the entire film, because there is a lot going on in this movie, and I was just coming up with my own interpretations of individual scenes in terms of like what they were showing. Like the main girl just in a subway, just doing like a dance. So like that stuff is memorable, and I really enjoyed that. And I was trying to interpret what was supposed to be like going on inside characters' heads, and there's just so much going on in this movie that I just found it to be kind of difficult to keep track of everything. But that's I feel as though that's my fault. That's not really the movie's fault in a way. And sure, you could criticize the movie for just having so much going on to the point where you can't really keep up with what's going on in the plot. And you have to constantly think about it and watch it like 1,000 times before you really understand what's going on. And if that's a complaint that you have with the movie, then I understand. But personally, I feel as though the overall experience of the movie was worth it. I wasn't really bored while watching the movie. It's 2 hours long. Great runtime for this movie. I didn't feel as though the movie was overstaying its welcome or testing my patience. It's not a fast-paced movie necessarily, but at the same time, I didn't feel as though it was being disrespectful to my time. And in terms of, I guess, recommending this movie, I guess this is kind of a little early on for me to talk about that, because I normally say how I would recommend a movie when I'm wrapping things up. But in terms of who I would recommend this to, I'm not entirely too sure who I would recommend it to outside of like horror movie buffs, because it is pretty much an art house film and it's pretty out there and is not afraid to do its own thing. And also there's plenty of scenes in this movie that are disturbing and weird, and there's some movies out there that I could compare it to, but I don't want to spoil anything. And it's also a sexual movie, I guess. There's a decent amount of nudity. Yeah, there's stuff like that throughout, and there's lots of violence, and I can see this movie being very confusing to a lot of people. So if you're willing to sit through all of that, then I guess this is the movie for you. But just keep in mind, you're probably going to have to watch it multiple times. And honestly, even after our first viewing, I don't think I got everything out of it, really. I feel as though there's plenty more that I could get out of it upon multiple viewings, but I guess that'll happen when I rewatch the movie. And I guess in a weird way, as far as the plot goes, if we're just talking about the plot, in a weird way, I don't really know how I feel about it. Mostly because there's just so much to talk about and dissect about it. But as a whole piece, I thought it was great. There's plenty of technical things about it that I really enjoyed. The acting's great. I really enjoyed Sam Neill in this movie. I thought he was great. And really, a lot of what this movie is showing me is very memorable. And I can see myself coming back to this film. And I would recommend it if this sounds like a movie for you. And it's currently on Amazon Prime. That's how I watched it. Obviously, there's other ways to watch it, but that's how I watched it. So check this movie out if it looks interesting to you or sounds interesting, whatever, whenever you get the chance. And with all that being said, I'm going to give Possession an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Possession, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Flow. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching, and have a great day.